to get a win no matter what so they can cement their place in the tournament. Clemson's already done that, and they're looking to try and end the regular season on a high note after having a 19-game winning streak snapped, like you said, Sam, yesterday afternoon. Clemson, a very potent offense, and we'll be talking about that quite a bit today. Syracuse has been up to the task, though, for most, if not all, of the weekend, getting the win yesterday and being in position to get the win in the first 2 games of the series as well.
So Syracuse comes out first here at home. That 19-game winning streak for Clemson, by the way, was the longest streak for Clemson's women's sports team in school history, and that was snapped yesterday. And if the Orange want to pull it off again, they're going to need a good performance from Kaya Oliver, who started Game 2 of the doubleheader yesterday. 3 innings, 2 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were earned. And Oliver looked pretty solid yesterday and put the Orange in a good enough position for when Alexa Romero came in to eventually win.
Well, the pitching for Syracuse has been on point. After struggling a little bit in that series against Virginia Tech last weekend, they've really come to play and to pitch this weekend. They've held Clemson's offense in check for the most part. Clemson did put up 6 runs yesterday, but Syracuse's offense met them halfway and put up 7 to get the win. Now, if the pitching is solid today, Syracuse's offense will be the question, because they were struggling for most of the year, then came into this weekend, and, well, we'll talk about Valerie Cagle in the outfield in the batter's box today. But as a pitcher, she was phenomenal all year. Only gave up 3 home runs before the series, gave up 2 in the first 3 innings of play in Game 1 on Friday. It's going to be a great game, and the series has been close all the way through. I'd expect the same thing here today.
Clemson has taken 2 of the 3 games so far, but the Orange grabbed a big one yesterday in the second game of the doubleheader. Oliver's first pitch is a strike to Mackenzie Clark, and yeah, Syracuse walked it off, but it probably would have been over if not for a home run saving catch by Clark in the 5th inning yesterday of a 5-5 game, robbing Gabby Tehran as she lines that one down the left field line, and that's fair. Extra bases for Clark as she pulls up into second base with a lead-off double.
Well, Clark has been swinging the bat very well all year. Coach John Rittman mentioned her in the coach's call I was on earlier this week, said that she's got the speed on the base pass. She has a great bat. First at bat of the series, hit one to the warning track in left field. Second at bat, made the adjustment, hit a home run to right field. She's got power, and a combination of power and speed is dangerous, especially early in this game.
2 for 2 in Game 2 yesterday, and she starts this one with a double, and Clemson already threatening here in the first inning.
Well, Syracuse's pitching staff has done a good job avoiding major damage in most innings, either getting out of a jam unscathed or giving up 1 run. It's not a great start for Oliver, but still just the first hitter.
Ainsley Gilstrap stands in and looks at a called strike. Gilstrap came into the series batting .316. Shortstop of Clemson. A very potent top of the order. You've got Valerie Cagle, who launched 2 home runs yesterday, on deck. Outside 1-1.
Now with Cagle on deck, if you can keep Gilstrap off the base pass, that's big. The old adage for any softball, baseball, whatever, if you walk batters, something bad happens after it. You can keep Gilstrap off the base pass. It'll at least keep the damage to a minimum if Cagle doesn't get up and put one over the fence. Of course, Kaya Oliver has faced off against Gilstrap already, knows what she's worthy of at the plate, as do all the Syracuse pitchers.
Count is 2-1. Oliver delivers from the circle. That one just missed. And the count now runs to 3-1. Gilstrap 1 for 3 yesterday in Game 2. The first 2 games of the series actually ended with the same score. 4-2 loss on Friday for the Orange, and then 4-2 again on Saturday. 5-pitch walk to Ainsley Gilstrap, and now bring up Valerie Cagle already with runners on first and second and still nobody out. And with that, that'll prompt a visit to the circle.
Well, necessary now, especially with runners on first and second. You have a force everywhere. Third, second, and first. So just going over the situations. If the ball gets grounded to the third, tag the base, get the lead runner out, and then maybe you even just hold it there because you get one out. You're in the similar situation that you were on that last play.
There's a pretty good anecdote as to why Valerie Cagle is so dangerous. In a game against NC State earlier this season, the bases were loaded with 2 outs, and they intentionally walked her. They put her on base rather than have her face their pitcher and walk in a run. That's something I haven't heard of since Barry Bonds.
Well, that you mentioned Barry Bonds, and my good friend Ben Schulman, who was on the call yesterday with Faith Kane for the doubleheader, asked John Rittman about that and said, I haven't seen that except for Barry Bonds. Have you? And he said, no, not at all. And she is one of those players that can hurt you however she does it. In the circle. She could pitch a no-hitter if she really wants to. She is dominant. 24-4 now on the season in the circle. And then she hits over 400 in the batter's box. What can you do to stop that?
Now up in the count at 2-0. Clark on second. Gilstrap on first after a double and a walk. Oliver winds up and fires towards the plate. That one misses, so it's 3-0. And as much as you don't really want to put another runner on, you can't afford to put that ball right down the middle. Cagle 3-0. That finds the zone for a strike.
Oliver's trying to work the outside part of the plate so that she doesn't put a ball, like you said, into the wheelhouse for Cagle. That's a dangerous proposition for Syracuse today. But when you do that, you risk walking the bases loaded, and that's what happens there.
So now Kaya Oliver in a bit of a pickle. Bases loaded, nobody out to start this game in the top of the first. Did run into some trouble yesterday, but managed to limit the damage when necessary, giving up 3 earned runs in 3 innings. Infield in as first pitch is a called strike to Marissa Gimbarda, who hit a home run earlier in this series, had a sac fly yesterday.
Seems like hitting home runs is par for the course for this Clemson team, whether you're coming off the bench cold as a pinch hitter or if you're in the starting lineup. They can all do it. They've got some big hitters that aren't playing, at least starting in this game today. Think Morgan Johnson, Kaya Keller, 2 of those. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them later in this game.
0-2 count as Oliver so far has found success in this at-bat. Here's the pitch. Outside 1-2. Gianna Torres behind the plate. Rebecca Clyde at third. Nellie Casares-Mayer at short. Gabby Turan at second. And Callie Ulmer over at first, rounding out the infield for Syracuse. Hasn't had any action so far. A double followed by 2 walks. 1-2. Oh, just missed.
Well, you could hear the crowd say, yes, that's a strike. Umpire disagrees, but a great play discipline by Gimbarda. Saw that pitch dropping away, decided against taking a hack at it.
2-2 count. Swing and a miss in the dirt, but the runners move up and score. And it will, since first base wasn't open, Gimbardo strikes out, but that ball gets away, and Clark trots in for the first run of the game, and Clemson takes a 1-0 lead.
Well, that's just a tough break for Kaya Oliver, thinking she's gotten out there. A tough pitch for Torres to handle. Just wasn't able to drop down to her knees quick enough to block that in front of the plate.
Aaliyah Logoleo stands in and takes a ball outside. Coming into the series, batting .237. Power up and down this Clemson lineup, and especially a tough proposition when you have runners at second and third. Still with just 1 out, as that's a strike. Infield still in. Just about lined up with the base pass. Corners a bit more in as that one misses.
Well, Oliver early trying to get these Clemson hitters to chase a little bit. She's thrown a few pitches outside, looking to try and get calls in the corner, trying to drop pitches out of the zone to get Clemson hitters to chase and strike themselves out. No success so far. After 3 games of watching Syracuse pitching, Clemson hitters are going to be disciplined today.
That one a called strike as it catches the corner. Two-two count. One out in the inning. That one hit sharply out to left field. Woods back on it, and that one is gone. A big 3-run home run by Aligo Logoleo, and Clemson has jumped out to a 4-0 lead here in Syracuse.
Well, power up and down the lineup, as you said, Sam, for Clemson. Logoleo did not start in game 1. She started in every game since, and she's got power. And to get 4 runs up on the board in the first inning is huge. Final game of a series heading into the ACC tournament. You liken a 4-game series especially to a 4x4, a 4x1 in track and field. You put your fastest runners first and last. You want to have your best performances in the first and last game. First game to have momentum going through the series, last game heading into the next weekend. And if this is how Clemson's going to play in game 4 of this series, they should have no worries going into the ACC tournament.
The 5th home run of the season for Logoleo, and with that, a pitching change as Lindsey Hendricks, who started yesterday's game, will come on. We'll take a break and be back on the ACC Network Extra. Back here in the top of the first inning, and well, if you're just tuning in, you've already missed a big 3-run home run by Aaliyah Logoleo to jumpstart Clemson to a 4-0 lead. Kai Oliver only threw 17 pitches, gave up 4 runs, all of which were earned, and with that, Lindsey Hendricks comes into the game hoping to settle things down.
Well, Hendricks not in a tough spot because there's no one on the base pass, but she's in a tough spot still because she wants to limit the damage. There's only 1 out in the inning, and we can't say it enough. Clemson's lineup is ridiculous, top to bottom, 1 to 9, and then probably 3 or 4 more players deep on the bench. Get the 2nd out here, the 3rd out, get out of the inning, get your hitters up there, and try and get a couple of these runs back.
Bunt down by Pereira, but a good throw over to first by Clyde. Makes for the 2nd out of the inning. Well, Syracuse has had a rough start in this series a little, but able to get out a bases loaded jam in the 2nd yesterday, giving up just 1 run. But here, bases loaded to start this game with no outs, and Clemson brings all those runners around to score, and including the batter. First pitch strike to Sarah Howell, the right fielder.
Now Howell getting her first start of the series today. Pinch hit back in game 1, struck out. Granted, that's Alexa Romero who is pitching in that game. The Orange's go-to, not pitching, at least not starting today.
Count is 0-2 to Howell after a foul tip into the mitt. Hendricks winds up, and that one's high. Lindsey Hendricks into the game for Syracuse, the freshman lefty. 3-3 on the season, making her 15th appearance of the year. Offering grounded over to 3rd, and that one was foul. First before it came out of the batter's box.
Yeah, right off her foot. Does not feel great when you do that.
Feels a bit nicer on a day like this.
That is very true.
Sunny. It hasn't been like that in Syracuse for quite some time. We've seen some rain over the past few days. And at best, clouds. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Hendricks gets out of the inning, but the damage is done. 4 runs in that first inning by Clemson, including a 3-run homer. We'll be back for the bottom of the first here on ACC Network Extra.
4 runs on 2 hits. There were no Syracuse errors, no runners left on base. After a half inning, Clemson 4, Syracuse coming to bat.
Yesterday through 5 innings of 4-hit ball, giving up 2 earned runs and picking up a win. So the left-hander will face Syracuse again. Lineup starting with Paris Woods, who had a fantastic game yesterday, going 3 for 4, followed by Leilani Mayfield and Nelly Casares-Mayer rounding out the first 3. We'll see in this inning.
Well, Paris Woods didn't just have a good game yesterday. She's had a heck of a series. And most of the damage she's done was actually against Valerie Cagle. She's 6 for 10 in the series, home run, pair of RBIs, stole a base as well. 5 for 9 against Cagle, 1 for 3 against 2 other Clemson pitchers.
As Woods swings and misses at strike 1.
She was in the 9 spot in game 1, Sam. And after that first game, she went 2 for 3, had the home run, got moved right up to the top of the order.
We've seen a couple players go up and down. Ulmer was at one point batting second in the lineup during this series, as that's a called strike, making it 0-2. But a bit of lineup adjustments for Shannon Dempking in her 3rd year with Syracuse. Trying to figure things out before the end of the regular season and into the ACC tournament, which is on the horizon. Pitch misses outside, 1-2.
Well, figuring things out is going to be a key for Syracuse. You figured it out a little bit yesterday. What are you going to be really good at against the top teams in the ACC if you get to them in the tournament? Oh.
Woods absolutely fooled, and with that, Thompson registers her first strikeout for the first out in the Syracuse batting order. Wow, she was quite ahead of that pitch.
Well, Thompson is not going to blow you away with velocity like a Valerie Cagle will, but every pitcher has their go-to, right? And for Thompson, at least in that first at-bat, it was off-speed pitches, getting batters out in front. Syracuse is wanting to be aggressive with the velocity that these Clemson pitchers have. Get ahead of the ball, choke up, and try and square it up. If they get too aggressive, though, you overswing on the breaking pitches, and you find yourself striking out more than you hit the ball.
Leilani Mayfield stands in. And that one misses to put the count up to 2-0. Designated player today for Syracuse. It's either in the DP spot or in the outfield. Called strike. 2-1 the count with 1 out.
Thompson here putting everything behind her pitches. You can hear her grunt every time that she lets one loose. Take a listen here. I'm sure you'll hear it.
Well, you'll hear a swing and a miss from Leilani Mayfield for strike 2 there. That one, she was well out in front of it, expecting the fastball. Count even at 2-2 as Thompson deals. That one can't catch the corner. 7 batters came to the plate for Clemson in that first inning, registering 4 runs on 2 hits. Now Syracuse will need an answer. Delivery towards the plate, called strike 3. 2 up, 2 down, courtesy of the strikeout from Millie Thompson, who so far looks strong on the mound in the final game of the regular season for Clemson.
Well, Thompson did not get that call on the pitch right before. We saw that. Goes right back to the same spot, better placement this time. And Mayfield thinking it's the same spot, ball 4, ends up walking back to the dugout.
First pitch swinging is Nelly Casares-Mayer, who leads the team in batting average at just over 350.
Well, she got the bats going first in this series. Solo shot in her first at bat back in game 1. It's been relatively quiet since. 1 for 6 since game 1. Has a walk and a single.
1-1 count.
She is the big bat, though, on this team. And they'll need her to produce as they head into the postseason.
ACC tournament beginning May 12th, so it's a quick turnaround for both schools. Casares Mayer lofts that one down the right field line, but foul. Syracuse is in a hole early, and thanks to the big bats of Clemson, albeit there were 2 walks as well by Kaya Oliver. Syracuse already at their second pitcher of the game.
Well, walks don't lead to anything good in softball. You walk a batter, and you allow someone else in this Clemson lineup to step up. You got to be thinking, okay, either pitch around them or try and strike them out, or just don't let them hit the ball in the air.
Pitches outside from Thompson, 2-2 to Casares Mayer. Infield of Grace Matamore, Ainsley Gilstrap, Kimmy Pereira, and Grace Matamore. That one's lined into left field, and it gets down for a base hit. Lands just in front of Cagle, and a 2-out single by Nellie Casares Mayer.
I think Cagle thought she caught that off the turf. There was a slight bounce, but she had to slow up as to not overrun it, let it roll through her legs, and because of that, just that sharp little bounce right into her mitt. A break for Casares Mayer, and now we'll see if Syracuse can get something going with 2 outs.
2 outs, and Gabby Tehran steps to the plate. A cleanup hitter for the Orange, looks at a called strike. Almost had a home run yesterday. She was robbed in center field. It was a 5-5 game in the 5th, which pretty late stages, and Mackenzie Clark had other ideas and kept it in the ballpark. But she's got a lot of power, but gets under this one, popped up to first base, and Matamore is there to make the grab. So Syracuse gets 1 hit, but can't muster any more. 4-0 game as we head to the second inning here from Syracuse.
End of the first inning, no runs on 1 hit, no Clemson errors, 1 runner left on base after 1 inning.
Top of the second inning, Sam Oppenheim with Brendan Hodges. Here from Skytop Softball Stadium in Syracuse. The final game of a 4-game set between the 2 schools, and in the 4-game set, well, Clemson has jumped out in Game 4.
Yes, they have. 4-0 all in the first inning. Kaya Oliver, a rough start to say the least, and got pulled after 17 pitches and just 1 out. A couple of walks in there, 3-run shot from Aaliyah Logaleo, and that's how it's 4-0, folks.
Clemson comes up to bat again, starting with Grace Matamore, who lays off that pitch for ball 1. Hendricks came in and got both outs without giving up a hit or a runner. Syracuse hoping she can provide more of the same here in the second. That one's a ball, 2-0. Clemson, the number 11 team in the ESPN.com/USA softball poll.
Well deserved, I might add. Well deserved. Especially for a program only 2 years old. They were picked 10th to finish. Picked to finish 10th in the ACC their inaugural year. They were 5-1 in the ACC when COVID stopped the season.
4-pitch walk as Matamore will stride down to first.
And then, second season, casually go 37-4 coming into this weekend.
So this season is going to be their first. And it's looking all the more likely, especially after the start today, that they're going to lock up the top spot for the conference tournament. It's really remarkable what John Rittman has done with Clemson.
But it's his pedigree, right? He was coaching at Stanford for a long time, had some really good teams there. He has been part of the pool for Team USA. I mean, he is a well-known coach. He knows what he's doing, and he's built a program through, transfers who have been playing Division I softball for at least a year or 2. You think of Ainsley Gilstrap at USC Upstate. I'll stop here for you.
And there's a bunt, and that gets down, and it's a fair ball. Clyde races over to third to cover the bag, as that will be a bunt, more than likely a single. Boy, the entire infield seemed to be charging on that play. So now runners at first and second, again to start the inning for the second straight inning. And mention that pedigree, just the smart plays that Clemson is making. 18 years with Stanford for Rittman. He won every single season he was there, and Clemson is just an aggressive team. They match his kind of coaching style.
Well, they're aggressive. They're also very young. You have a lot of redshirt freshmen. Why are they redshirts, though? Well, they came to Clemson in 2019 before their quote-unquote inaugural season. Had a year to work together to set up this softball program. 2020 comes around, inaugural season. Again, 19-8 overall, 5-1 in the ACC. They were potent then COVID stopped the season. Come to this year, and you're 1 year more experienced. They're still redshirt freshmen in terms of eligibility because everyone gets a year back. And you go, again, casually, go 37-4 coming into the weekend. 2-1 in this weekend. And locking up the #1 seed in the ACC tournament. What more can you ask for in your second year as a program?
Been a good start to the program in just year number 2. Clark at the plate and fouls that one off to the right side. 1-2 the count with Mattamore at second, Hyatt at first. They did award that a single. Well, it would have been a tough play for anyone to make, and caught Syracuse a bit on their heels.
You had 4 people diving for that ball at once, so
1-2 pitch off the plate, 2-2.
even if somebody had caught that ball, it would have been hard to get out of the scrum and make a play anywhere because no bases were covered.
So Hendricks in a bit of a situation here in the second inning. Clemson by 4. Clark slaps that one foul up in the air to the right side. Well, for all the talk about Clark's play in center field yesterday, she's also made her presence known with her bat, 2 for 2 in game 2, and then a leadoff double to start this game.
It's the type of player you want leading your lineup in any game.
That one through the left side for a base hit. Runners hold at third as Torres corrals the throw into home, and that means the bases are loaded again with nobody out in the inning.
Well, Clark just picked the right pitch to hit, took it opposite through the left side of the infield, right where no one's going to get to it. Good job by Paris Woods, though, getting the ball back into the infield to keep the runner at third. Give your defense a chance to get it out at home if there's a grounder.
Ainsley Gilstrap takes her place in the batter's box. Walk came around to score in the first inning. Now the second time through the order for Clemson. First pitch fought back and fouled off.
Gilstrap, one of those transfers, played at USC Upstate for quite a while, I might add. Had plenty of Ace Sun awards. Played there 3 years, then came to Clemson, redshirted.
0-1 offering is off the plate. 1-1 the count. 58 degrees today here in Syracuse. The series that has mostly featured a lot of rain Friday and Saturday, but all games did take place. 1-1 pitch from Hendricks. That one softly blooped into center field. That gets down for a base hit, and a throw over to third. Safe as a run comes in to score. Just getting there to third was Hyatt, and Clemson extends their lead, 5-0 Tigers.
Well, again, just putting the ball in play where no one can get it. Bloop single, Tony Martin playing a little bit deeper in center field. And she wasn't playing deep really at all. She was just playing deep enough to where that ball lands in the outfield grass. And run comes in to score. You move the runners over one at a time. Rack up pitches on the Syracuse pitching staff. And Shannon Debking was quick to pull the trigger on bringing Hendricks into the game for Kaya Oliver. If things get a little hairy here, which, I mean, they already are. It's 5-0. But if they get even a little more hairy, not sure who you bring in that can stop a Clemson lineup.
Well, it's now Valerie Cagle at the plate. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs yesterday in the 7-6 loss. With a golden opportunity here to really blow this game wide open. Called strike, first pitch from Hendricks.
Middle infielders are sneaking in here. If they do get a grounder, first plays to home. probably just hold the ball after that. Because Cagle's got speed on the base pass as well. If you go home, you're not getting there at first.
Cagle, a USA Softball National Player of the Year finalist in just her freshman season as she swings it. Preseason All-ACC, preseason All-American. Well-deserved accolades as she's hit over 400 this season.
About to say, is that all? Like,
yeah, and is 25-4 too. 1-2 count to Cagle from Hendricks in her first full inning of work here in the the top of the second. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Cagle goes down swinging and a big strikeout for Lindsay Hendricks.
well, Hendricks also working out of the zone a little bit, trying to get Clemson hitters to go fishing, and Cagle took the bait, swung at a pitch that she probably wasn't going to hit because it was a little outside, and sits herself back down on the bench.
Clemson previously had 3 straight singles, but a big first out of the inning as the middle infielders moved to double play depth. First pitch to Gimbarda is high for ball 1. She struck out back in the first inning. A pitch that eventually reached the backstop and allowed a run to score with the bases loaded. Fouled off, 1-1. Hendricks so far has given up 3 hits and 1 earned run. Oliver on the hook for 4 earned runs in just a third of an inning of work. 1-1 delivery is high, 2-1.
Oh, and I can see a sliver of the Syracuse bullpen right now, and they still have people warming up.
Alexa Romero started neither game yesterday, did come in game 2.
Well, I see a 17 down there, Jolie Gustav.
Right now, Hendricks trying to get out of it herself. 3-1 count with 1 out, and the bases are loaded. Hyatt at third, Clark at second, and Gilstrap at first. 3-1, finds the zone.
Now everything's open for Hendricks. Go off speed, try and pump a fastball right past her. Just hit the strike zone.
Full count. Popped up to the right side, and it veers its way foul down that right field line. So we'll do it once again. Another tricky situation for the Orange after the bases were loaded for Clemson in the first inning. 4 runs eventually scored. Aaliyah Logaleo with a 3-run home run, her 5th of the season. Clemson hungry for more. Another pitch fouled off to the right side.
Yeah, the people sitting outside of right field are getting a lot of action that way today. Can't really see them. They're well beyond the fence. There are a lot of people here today, actually. They're enjoying a warm day in Syracuse.
Mother's Day, final game of the regular season. Got fans inside Skytop Softball Stadium and outside as that pitch is off the plate, ball 4. A run comes in to score as Hyatt trots home. And Clemson has put up 2 in this inning and now leads 6-0. And with that, you bring up a batter who hit a 3-run home run earlier and is now up with the bases loaded.
Yeah,
Leah Logaleo.
The only way you can one up a 3-run home run is a grand slam, right? So seems only right for Logaleo to be up here.
First pitch swinging, lofts that one into right center field, and that one is gone. Oh my goodness, a 3-run home run in the first and a grand slam in the second. And Clemson is pouring it on Aaliyah Logaleo with 7 RBIs in the second inning.
Well, she just won up her first at bat, so congratulations, Aaliyah Logaleo. First pitch, too, just got what she wanted, took a hack, why not? Be aggressive. You have been torching Syracuse pitching so far this afternoon. It continues 10 runs in 2 innings.
If you're just tuning in, it's 10-0. We then accidentally add a 1 before the 0, and Wow, Aaliyah Logoleo. We've been talking about the big bats of Cagle and Clark. Even Pereira has had a decent series, but Aaliyah Logoleo getting her first start in this 4-game set. And there's no way she could have made any more of this. First pitch swinging Pereira, and that lands in center field for a base hit.
Well, Logoleo has started in this series before. Howell is the one who only started once. That's besides the point, though. She's coming up now. Logoleo is just since she's come into the series, she's been hot. She was not hot, but 1 for 6 coming into today with an RBI. She's 2 for 2, and she has 7. Forget 2 games. That's a series for most people.
And a meeting at the circle now. 1 out in the inning, 10-0 Clemson. Off of 7 hits, the Orange in their only time up to bat got 1 hit. All Clemson as the dugout is pretty animated right now.
You can't see it. They were, I don't know. I don't remember what that dance is called, but a conga line maybe through the dugout. They are enjoying time. They had been in a dogfight really for most of this series. Syracuse had hung with them, and today is just a completely different story. Clemson bats have warmed up, just as the weather has. John Rittman is pulling all the right strings today, has a great lineup out there. It's solely from a production standpoint.
One out, runner on first. Howell looks at ball 1. 9th batter to come to the plate in this inning, so if Mattamore, who's in the on-deck circle, comes up to bat. Called strike to even the count at 1-1. Really tough situation for a pitcher to be in. Came into the game already down 4-0. But this second inning has proved to be even worse for the Orange. Shot down the left field line, foul.
Nice catch out there in the bullpen by the one of those catchers out there.
1-2 count.
Great awareness.
Howell struck out swinging back in the first inning. Hendricks fires that one high. Lindsey Hendricks came in the first inning, and in her first full innings, giving up 6 runs. Blooper into left field. Woods charges in to make the catch for the second out of the inning.
Well, getting that second out is big. Yeah, you're down 10-0, but instilling any sort of confidence is vital for Syracuse because I've seen games where, yes, there's been a 10-run lead, but that can be cut into in just a matter of a couple of at-bats.
Grace Mattamore started off this inning with a walk. She looks at a first pitch strike. 7 hits for the Tigers, 10 runs. And there have been 2 big ones, and they've both been by Aaliyah Logoleo. 3-run home run in the first, and Brendan, you were even joking that the only way she could one-up herself was a grand slam, and she did that first pitch.
Is that your subtle way of telling me
Yes.
that I called my shot?
Yeah, the opposite of an announcer's jinx. 1-1 delivery. Sharply down the left field line, but foul.
I appreciate the compliment, my friend.
Pereira still on first. Mattamore, the 8-hitter for Clemson, at the plate now. 1-2. Fouled off again. Syracuse has kept it close with Clemson for the other games this series. 4-2 on Friday and then 4-2 on Saturday before a 7-6 game yesterday in favor of the Orange. Another ball fouled off by Mattamore.
Mattamore is a little bit ahead of everything. It started with that first pitch, got an off-speed pitch and was ready to swing at a fastball. Hendricks is slowing things down for trying to get Mattamore to get ahead of one and strike herself out to end the inning.
One, two. Off the outside of the plate. If Mattamore reaches JoJo Hyatt, who singled in this inning, would come up to the plate. Payoff pitch, and that hits Mattamore. So Grace Mattamore with a walk and a hit by a pitch in this inning. And now runners on first and second, still with 2 outs. On the order now with JoJo Hyatt, the catcher.
How often is it you see a player hit a 3-run shot and a grand slam, and then you see a player walk and get hit by a pitch in the same game? Basically almost in the same inning.
I'd have to use baseball or softball reference or any number of those tools to try to figure that one out.
Those are 2 very different days.
Yes.
For players.
1-0 count. I don't know, personally, if I've ever seen a batter hit a 3-run homer and a grand slam in the same game, although there have been players who have hit a grand slam in the same game. Fernando Tatis Sr.
Yeah, he has a son that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, he's all right. Called strike 2 and 1. Bats have been good for Clemson today.
Just good.
Great. And even that's an understatement. Shot fouled down the right field line. Quite a response from the Tigers after falling yesterday 7-6. Number 11 team in the country, competing with Florida State for the top spot in the conference, and Clemson would lock it up today with a win. That one's through the right side for a base hit. Coming around third and in to score safely is Pereira. Mattamore moves up to third, and Clemson 11-0 in the second inning.
Well, they are just doing everything right today. When they swing at a ball with 2 strikes, it goes foul. When they swing at a ball and get it in the field of play, there's no Syracuse player in sight to stop it from getting through the infield. Another meeting in the circle as well as Lindsay Hendricks trying to figure something out to get out of this inning. She has been out in the circle a long time.
There's a certain point where, sure, you want someone to fill those innings, but also you don't want to send them out there to have to fight on their own for too long.
Oh, Shannon Depking is going to make a change here again.
And Miranda Hearn will come into the game when we come back. 11-0 Clemson, top of the second inning. And we'll be back in a moment here on ACC Network Extra.
Your attention, now pitching for Syracuse, number 8, Miranda Hearn.
back here in Syracuse, and the third pitcher of the game for the Orange is Miranda Hearn, who also plays a bit of infield as well, making her 4th appearance of the season for Syracuse.
Quite the spot to come into.
Hearn's at first and third with 2 outs in the inning, but Clemson has already put up a crooked number 7 on the scoreboard in this frame. Mackenzie Clark sees strike 1. Pretty successful day so far. Double in the first, came around to score the first run of the game, and then singled in this inning and scored as well. 2 hits, 2 runs. Hearn fires, fouled off towards the Clemson dugout. Everything going right for the Tigers so far. We were expecting maybe one of these games to be probably in heavy favor of Clemson. Syracuse has done a solid job sticking with the Tigers in the first 3. Clemson, they've had all the notoriety for a reason. Pitches outside.
Oh, and what a great game to have your best performance as well. We mentioned it earlier. A great performance in your last game going into the ACC tournament is huge. They'll have a bye, so they'll have a little bit of time to scout a couple teams, see who they're playing.
Pop up by Clark on the infield, and that's snared by Hearn for the end of the inning. But it's not before. 7 runs by Clemson here in the second inning. 11-0 Tigers. Will be back for the bottom of the second here on ACC Network Extra.
With the Clemson Tigers in the middle of the second inning, 7 runs on 6 hits, no Syracuse errors, 2 runners left on base. After 1.5 innings, our score Clemson 11, Syracuse nothing.
They played perfectly. The only thing I guess the only thing they haven't done perfectly is strike out on occasion, or actually that's about it. That's really all they've done wrong is strike out on occasion.
One batter in the lineup has yet to reach base, Sarah Howell, who's 0 for 2. But other than that, the 8 other batters in the lineup have reached base in some way.
It is her first start in the series. You can cut her a little bit of slack, but Syracuse could use something positive here, and well, they'll look to Angel Hasso to do that, Sam.
Hasso playing right field today. And a first pitch swinging, base hit through the right side. Good start to the second inning for the Orange, with the leadoff single bringing up Tony Martin.
Well, Hasso's first hit of the series comes at a pretty good time. Syracuse trying to get something going here. Get somebody who hasn't had much going their way in the series, get something going their way, and then you bring up Tony Martin, who had everything going her way yesterday.
Clemson has already tied their most runs scored this season through 2 innings at the plate, as Martin a bit off balance for strike 1. They won 11-0 versus Illinois State in the season opener on February 12th down in Jacksonville, Florida. They've hit double digits only one other time against Elon. 0-2 count to Martin.
2 changeups to Martin so far. A pitch that she struggles a little bit against. Has been getting better at laying off it at times and swinging when she can hit it.
Outside 1-2. Final game. One of numerous seniors or grad students on this SU roster. Martin lays off 2-2.
Martin's had her moments in this series. A big hit in each of the last 2 games, a double in game 2. Knocked in 2 runs, the home run in game 3 that knocked in 2 as well.
And she swings and misses for strike 3. Third strikeout of the afternoon for Millie Thompson, who's dealing so far. Of course, she's had a fair amount of run support. I think Jacob,
I was about to
Jacob
say,
DeGrom would be quite jealous.
I was about to say, how do you think she's feeling right about now, knowing she's up 11 in the second inning?
Pretty good feeling if you're in the circle. First pitch to Torres is a called strike. Torres had the walk-off single yesterday in a 7-6 Syracuse win. Got
a crown, too.
She did. Part of the festivities on senior day. 1-1 count.
How dare a sophomore steal the show on senior day, Sam? How dare she?
Well, when you give your team the win, you can do that. High chopper over to second base. They get the out at second and over to first for 2. 4-6-3 for Clemson. And that ends the threat after a leadoff single by the Orange. 11-0 Tigers as we head to the third inning. We'll be back in a moment here from Syracuse.
For the Syracuse Orange, at the end of the second inning, no runs on 1 hit. There were no Clemson errors, no runners left on base.
Maybe it's the purple uniforms.
They are a nice Clemson purple. Both these teams, main color is orange. Syracuse going with the gray uniforms today with the script, which looks quite clean.
I honestly, everything has looked clean this weekend. I especially like the Syracuse helmets with the white and the state of New York on it with Otto just sitting in the state.
Wear those on their batting helmets too for the Orange. Is outside 1-1 count.
Oh, that's what I was referring to. If they had that on jersey, that'd be cool too. But softball does have some of the cleanest looking uniforms I have ever seen, though.
Popped up into right field. Going back on it is Hasso, and she makes the catch for the first out of the inning. That's a right, starts things off as Valerie Cagle comes to the plate, who's 0 for 1 with a walk, but that's probably one of the more surprising parts about 11-0 Clemson lead, and Cagle is yet to get a hit. Takes the first pitch strike.
Not often you see a day where Clemson is up by this much and she hasn't done really anything to help them offensively. Hasn't had much to do defensively either, though.
1-1. Cagle, who's in left field today, was pitching and also in left field yesterday, and it lines one sharply up the middle for a base hit. Clemson gets a runner on here in the third.
That'll be a good feeling for her, and especially for Clemson, because they're going to be leaning on her quite a bit when the ACC tournament comes around. Whether it's in the circle, whether it's in the batter's box, you will be hearing a lot about Valerie Cagle in the next week. And beyond, I might add.
1 out, 1 on. And a first pitch strike there to Gimbarda. Hearn readies and fires the 0-1, and it's off the plate. 9 hits in this game for Clemson. Syracuse has 2. Pair of singles. Inside 2-1. Miranda Hearn's pitch is fouled off by Gimbarda, trying to time it up there. Hearn's a bit different. She's doesn't pitch too much for Syracuse just because she also plays the field. But it's so important in a situation like this for Syracuse to of course, pitch well, but also just get outs and make sure Syracuse can crawl their way back into this game. But she strikes out Gimbarda there.
Yeah, part of that is that Hearn hasn't pitched all that much, and that plays to the advantage of Syracuse because no one's seen her, especially in this age of film study. I was talking with, and this is a different game that I was calling, the head coach over at Lemoyne just down the road, and she was mentioning that especially in this COVID year, you get a lot more film study because it's remote, and you might as well do it so you can see what the pitchers are good at, what they're not so good at, what you can take advantage of. It's becoming more and more prevalent in the game.
And Logoleo launches one to center field, and she's hit 3 home runs in this game.
Well, now all she needs to do is a solo shot, and she has the best type of cycle that anyone could have. My goodness.
Like a 3-run homer, a grand slam, And a home run here, a 2-run shot to put Clemson up 13-0.
This is ridiculous. She is responsible for 75% of Clemson's offense today.
What a performance.
The birds in those trees in the outfield are got to be saying medic.
There's a 9 spot in the RBI column for Aaliyah Logaleo, as Clemson now leads 13-0.
I want to take a guess at how many RBIs she had on the season coming into today.
Oh, I have that information right here. She had 17.
You are a smooth operator, Mr. Oppenheim.
Yes.
However, she actually hit an 18 coming into today because she had one yesterday.
Well, can't win them all. First pitch, second pitch outside, 2-0.
Point being, she's gotten half of her production from the rest of the season today. This is, I think now is the time you would call her a cheat code or something like that, right?
Certainly don't want to see her again if you're Syracuse after 3 home runs.
Oh, you know she wants to come up again. She's thinking, I'm getting in bat every inning. I'm hitting this ball out of the park. It doesn't matter who I'm going up against.
She had shoulder surgery at the beginning of 2020 as Pereira hits that one down the left field line and fair, and she'll be on first base after a single. She played 21 games, hit .345. Has really been an impressive player for this Clemson team. Had offers to actually play volleyball at the collegiate level. Clearly, she's quite good at softball, too.
Yeah, I think she picked the right sport. But I don't know why I'm thinking that. She's in the right spot.
Timeout on the field. 0-1 count to Sarah Howell.
I can only imagine what John Rittman is saying to Sarah Howell right now. She is the only Clemson player who hasn't found her way on base yet.
See ball, hit ball.
Is that all you have to do?
13-0 Tigers.
I was about to say, you don't see Trevor Lawrence out there, right?
Yeah. Maybe if they get to 16-0. Trevor's number at Clemson. Softly hit, right side. Tehran charges and throws over to first for the end of the inning. But another inning, another Aaliyah Logaleo home run. Home runs in the first 3 innings, a 3-run shot in the first, a grand slam in the second, and a 2-run homer in the third. We'll head to the bottom of the third. 13-0 Tigers here on ACC Network Extra.
On 3 hits, there were no Syracuse errors. 1 runner left on base. After 2.5 innings, our score, Clemson.
Back here for the bottom of the 3rd inning from Syracuse, New York, and Clemson, well, they're about to return to South Carolina, and more than likely after a massive win over Syracuse, 13-0. Sam Oppenheim, Brendan Hodges, as Rebecca Clyde leads off. Last inning ended in a double play for the Orange. Big cut, and she swings and misses for strike 1. Well, Millie Thompson had 4 runs of support after the first inning. Then she had 11 total after the second. Now she has 13. Pretty comfortable in the circle. 1-1 count. Popped up right side, stays in the infield as Pereira takes a few steps back and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. And with that, Syracuse will bring number 9 batter to the plate, and Callie Ulmer. Most of Clemson's lineup has come to the plate 3 times, and Syracuse just making it to the end of their lineup for the first time. All you have to do is look at the score.
Yeah, that is very true. All you have to do is look at the score.
Thompson's first pitch, check swing, and it hit the bat of Ulmer for strike one. Ulmer, a transfer from Dartmouth, where Shannon Depking previously coached. She was actually the first recruit of Coach Depking at Dartmouth.
Funny how that works out.
Lays down a bunt, and that's foul. Graduate transfer from California. Pollock Pines, about an hour east of Sacramento. Started every game this season for Syracuse. One. Tried to slap at it, fouled it off.
That's something that I haven't seen much of in this series. Lefty hitter taking a run up and just slapping a bunt down, the traditional style that you would think. They've mostly been able to swing away, and when they have laid down bunts, they haven't always worked. But coming from a spot where you had a slap hitter on your team. Ooh.
Called strike three, another strikeout for Thompson, who catches Ulmer looking, making 4 strikeouts in the game for Millie Thompson, who's doing impressive work herself at the circle.
As I was saying, my previous spot back in Minneapolis, there was a very good slap hitter on the team that I was calling games for. She would always take the run up and lay a bunt down, have the speed to get to first. Did have a home run, though, a grounder that went all the way to the wall and beat everybody. It was a very deep wall because with a lot of snow in Minnesota, they had to push it back onto the football field, the turf football field, and they were a little liberal with the space that they had used for the field then.
Woods went on the bunt and falls behind 0-2. Defensive change. Ariel Oda is out in right field for Clemson, taking the place of Sarah Howell. Pinch run a couple times in this series. And Woods swings and misses for strike 3. 5 Ks through 3 for Millie Thompson, and pitching only a little behind the hitting in this game. 13-0 Tigers. Will be back for the 4th inning in a moment.
There is no runners left on base. After 3 innings, our score: Clemson 13, Syracuse nothing.
Back in Syracuse, New York, and Clemson has certainly found Central New York comfortable, at least for today. 13-0, Aaliyah Logo-Leo. 3 home runs in each of the first 3 innings. Can she do it 4 times in 4 innings? Well, we'll have to see.
Pinch hitter here.
As pinch hitter coming to the plate will be number 15 for the Tigers.
Ooh, a debutante. Madison May. Welcome to the 2021 season.
The freshman from Georgia. Redshirted last season. She stands in here with the Clemson bench cheering her on. A special moment to get some of these players in on the last day of the regular season. Occasion for players, and well earned with a lot of good hitting. First pitch is a ball to May. Watches that one outside, 2-0. Hearn delivers, can't find the zone, and the count is 3-0 to Madison Mayo. Takes the spot 8th in the batting order of Grace Matamore. 8-9-1 will bat in this inning for the Tigers, as May, in her first plate appearance of the season, walks.
Nice way to start your season.
And now another pinch hitter coming into the game for Clemson. It's Pickett. Karsten Pickett from South Carolina. Puckett, correction. I was reading the name off the back of the jersey. Use the U for an I.
Well, Puckett, one of those players that can play both ways as well. Listed as a pitcher infielder. She's hitting in Hyatt's spot, though, so we'll see who they bring in to catch.
That one hit her in the box, 1-1. Freshman enrolled this fall. South Carolina native, fouls it off. 1-2. Won the state title in softball in 2019 at Cardinal Newman High School. And she looks at a called strike 3. So Hearn gets her second strikeout of this game. And there's one out here in the top of the 4th. Another pinch hitter, and this is probably going to be a theme going forward with a 13-0 lead. Inslee Houston comes into the game and launches that one out towards left field, but directly at Woods, who makes the grab for the second out of the inning.
Sounded good off the bat, though.
2 outs in the frame. And it appears to be another pinch hitter coming to the plate.
Hey, you think Logoleo is going to get a chance to hit the solo shot now?
I would love to see a home run cycle. That would be absolutely incredible. But Jaden Sheik will stand into the box. Another freshman. Such a happy moment for the Tigers at the end of the season to go out like this, to go into the tournament. She slaps that one over to short. Casares Mayer comes up throwing, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. So finally, the Orange escape without giving up any damage. 13-0, bottom 4 when we come back here from Syracuse.
After 3.5 innings,
They're off to our right. It's a shame you can't see everybody, this being a single cam game. Christina Martin, mother of Tony Martin. Also to our right, Michelle Fiddler, Letty Gallegos, Elizabeth Hasso sitting to our left, Pam Hendricks, Elizabeth Gustave. We're sitting right in front of us. I don't know where they went, but they were here, and I'm sure they'll be back as well. So happy Mother's Day to them. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers of the Clemson team who were most likely watching this game from home. Happy Mother's Day to, pause there.
There's a shot into left field by Mayfield that gets down for a base hit. So Syracuse has had a hit in 3 out of the 4 innings now. And a leadoff hit in the 2nd and now in the 4th.
Finish that up real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Happy Mother's Day to our mothers as well, who are most likely watching this from home.
Yeah, my mom, Sarah, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Allison. Did you call her yet today?
I did not.
Ooh.
I was preparing for this. That's my excuse. It's 1-0.
Oh, no.
I'll call after. No need to worry. A lot of time.
quite a bit of time.
13-0 game here as pitches in the dirt to Casares Mayer. It's a nice day in Syracuse. Just shy of 60 degrees and sunny for the most part. Foul down the right field side. Couple players in pursuit, and it lands on the ground for a foul ball.
It's nice to see. You mentioned it's a nice day. No one wearing heavy coats or even really hoods. Everybody wearing sweatshirts. Not many long sleeves out on the field today as well. Those were a necessity yesterday.
Cold, and more than that, it was also drizzling for most of the two games. Casares Mayer fouls that one off to the right side again, 2-2. Everyone for Clemson, by the way, that was pinch hit for has re-entered the game in the field.
I believe we'll be expecting more of the same in this next half inning.
Great opportunity for Clemson to just give players some experience, especially with a team that's as loaded as the Tigers. We'll wrap up as ACC champs as Casares Mayer swings and miss, at least regular season champs. Florida State is the only team that was in competition with them in the final home stretch for that top spot. And the Seminoles have won the ACC tournament each of the last 6 seasons. They're going to be quite tested against a Clemson team that can take care of everything at the plate, in the field, and in the circle. Gabby Teran takes the ball 1-0.
Well, Florida State, as you mentioned, just right behind Clemson, and
chopper over to short, coming into field and throwing to first. Not in time, though, is Gilstrap, and Teran reaches on an infield single.
yes, Florida State is going to be the 2 seed, and I'm looking at Clemson's full schedule right now just to make sure I get this information correct.
As Yasso stands in, singled back in the second.
They did not play Florida State this year. Clemson has not, so that's going to be that'll be a matchup and a half for sure.
Single elimination tournament beginning on May 12th. Runs through the 15th in the championship. Regionals for the NCAA tournament begin on the 21st. Hasso swings and misses. Runner at second is Mayfield. Teran just reached over at first. Big cut from Hasso, who goes down swinging. Another strikeout for Millie Thompson, who's dazzled with 7 Ks in this game.
What do you think about this, Sam? In the call I was on with John Rittman earlier this week, he said they like throwing 3 pitchers at teams, and Valerie Cagle, I think by her own admission, would say that this wasn't her best weekend pitching, as Tony Martin lays down a bunt there. Perfect. Textbook right there. That's that grad student experience, Sam. And I look back at the pitching staff for Clemson. Cagle, I'm sure, would say this wasn't her best weekend, but it's something to learn from. But when you have a pitcher like Millie Thompson, who for the most part has shut down Syracuse offensively today, this is really the first jam that she's going to be in. You got to be feeling pretty good as if you're Clemson going into. You can throw 1, 2, maybe 3 arms in a game if you need to.
Could make or break how far they go in the NCAA tournament. Syracuse, and Shannon Depking has mentioned this, outside of Alexa Romero, had needed somebody to really pick up the slack in terms of pitching otherwise, just so they could give Romero enough of a rest, be rested enough to pitch if the Orange want to make a run in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, with today, obviously you're going up against the top team in the ACC. You haven't found the answer to that as of yet. Kaya Oliver yesterday, you mentioned, had a relatively good showing. But it's going to be a question mark for Syracuse going into the ACCs for sure.
1-1 count to Gianna Torres, who grounded into a double play in her first at-bat. And laces that one sharply up the middle for a base hit. Mayfield comes in to score, rounding third and charging towards home, and sliding safely is Tehran. So Syracuse gets on the board with 2 runs and a 2 RBI single from Torres. 13-2 the score.
Torres had the big hit yesterday to win Game 3, and while this game may already be lost for Syracuse, they can find some solace in that Gianna Torres has found a bit of a bat in these last couple of days.
Basically the everyday catcher for Syracuse. Maxine Barnes has seen a little time as well, but nowhere near as much as Torres. With a good base hit right up the gut to put the orange on the scoreboard as Rebecca Clyde, now with an 0-1 count, will stand in. 0 for 1. Swings and misses. And just like that, it's 0-2.
Putting this game aside, Sam, Shannon Depking has to feel at least happy that players like Paris Ford have gotten back on track hitting-wise against a team like Clemson in this series. It hasn't shown today, but one game doesn't necessarily make or break the rest of your season, and to have confidence is key for Syracuse going in.
Fouled off by Clyde. Runners on first and second here. Martin at second, Torres on first. Outside 1 and 2. Run rule is 10 after 5 innings. Syracuse threatening to keep the game going well beyond that here as misses outside 2 and 2. I believe it's 8.
I believe it is 8, not 10.
10, yeah. It is 8. The Orange still have some work to do. Clyde fouls it off.
Hanging in there.
Thompson with 7 strikeouts in this game, gunning for number 8, but that ball sharply hit the short. Gilstrap throws over to first for the 3rd out of the inning. Syracuse gets 2 on the board, courtesy of Torres, but it's still 13-2 Clemson as we head to the 5th inning here in Syracuse.
For the Syracuse Orange at the end of the 4th inning, 2 runs on 4 hits. There were no Clemson errors, 2 runners left on base. After 4 innings, our score, Clemson 13, Syracuse 2.
Back here for the top of the 5th inning from Syracuse. Sam Oppenheim, Brendan Hodges. Glad you could join us on this Sunday afternoon, Mother's Day, across the country. And boy, if you're Aaliyah Logoleo, you're going to remember this day for a lot of reasons. 3 home runs. She had a 3-run homer in the first, a grand slam in the second, and then a 2-run shot in the 3rd inning.
She must have had a great call with her mom this morning to say Happy Mother's Day. And something must have happened in that conversation to hype her up enough to put some juice in the bat and get this thing going.
Could have been what she ate for breakfast.
It could have been a number of different things.
Yeah, it could have been a superstition, and she will more than likely bat here, starting with Valerie Cagle. 3-4-5 due up Logoleo in that 5th spot. saw 3 pinch hitters last inning for Clemson, but Cagle stays in here to start the top of the 5th. First pitch swinging down the left field line. And the catch is made. Out there in left field for the first out. Good track down there by Paris Woods.
Sam, I apologize. Before the game, I told you you would be able to see most things over there over the Syracuse dugout. Obviously not the case from where we are right now, because Paris Woods was very well hidden behind that dugout over there, but great play nonetheless.
COVID has changed our vantage point a little bit, but by the reaction, I had a feeling Woods made the catch. That one line down the left field line, and that is fair. Woods in pursuit all the way to the wall again. And Gimbardo pulling up to second with a double. So a hot shot down the left field line. This time is good for Clemson, and with that, Aaliyah Logoleo comes up to the plate, has already hit 3 home runs, and if you're Miranda Hearn, you have to be thinking, or at least try to think positively for this situation.
Well, if you're Aaliyah Logoleo, I think you're thinking, man, there goes the chance for the home run cycle. No chance for a solo shot now, barring something completely unforeseen.
Oh, that's terrible. She has 9 RBIs in this game already.
Your attention, please. Now running at second base.
Pinch runner at second is Carly Shannon.
Number 6.
Pinch ran yesterday. So runner in scoring position for Logoleo.
What do you think here? First pitch swinging?
I wouldn't be shocked. Going up against Miranda Hearn here. And she takes a first pitch strike from Hearn. Came into this game with 4 home runs on the season.
I don't have anything to say about that. I'll just let that sit there.
0-1, sharply hit in the left field. That's down and going to be extra bases for Logoleo. Rounds first. Coming in to score is Shannon, and well, it wasn't a home run, but that means 10 RBIs for Aaliyah Logoleo, who's had herself quite a day in the regular season finale.
Well, the ACC is being put on notice right now. Yeah, you got Valerie Cagle in your lineup, but Aaliyah Logoleo is no scrub at all. She has taken on Syracuse by herself today. I understand that players got on base for her, but she has just dominated in all facets.
Quite an impressive performance that she'll remember for quite some time. And yeah, even at the lower levels of softball,
you don't see this.
Yeah, you don't see domination quite like this. Really impressive stuff as Pereira off balance, swinging and missing, 0-2. She just continues to hit and hit and hit. 14-2 Clemson after an RBI double. Outside, 1-2.
Not gonna lie, Hearn doesn't have a lot of velocity on her pitches, but she hits her spots. Everything's close to the zone, if not in it.
1-2 offering from Hearn, right back up the middle. And holding it third will be Logoleo. But a single for Pereira, who now is 3 for 4 in this game.
You could probably argue Pereira's been the hottest bat on Clemson's team in this series. She started off 3 for 3 on Friday. Slowed down a little bit.
And for the first time in this game, Ariel Oda comes to the plate. Came in the field earlier in this game and takes a first pitch strike. So runners at the corners with 1 out, 14-2 the score. And what will more than likely be the last inning of this game. And that hits Oda. So she reaches base and loads him up here in the 5th inning. And Shannon Dempking walking over towards the home plate umpire. It looks like we'll get a pitching change. So we'll be back in a moment. 14-2 Clemson, bases loaded, 1 out, right here on ACC Network Extra.
Fans, your attention, now pitching for Syracuse, number 17, Julie Gustav.
New starting pitcher, or excuse me, new pitcher on for Syracuse, not starting, it's already the 5th inning, is Jolie Gustav, making it her second appearance in this series. And Kaya Keller will come up to the plate as a pinch hitter to face her. It's just a situation where if you're Syracuse, you want to get outs and bring yourself up to the plate as soon as possible. And the true freshman Gustav is hoping to do so from Huntington Beach, California.
Well, Keller looking to get back on track in this series. Started in game 1, went 0 for 4, struck out twice, only had 1 at bat after that. In yesterday's game 3, 0 for 5, 2 strikeouts in the series. And big chance here for her to get back on track, bases loaded.
First pitch, call and strike right down the middle. Bases are loaded for the Tigers. Logaleo at third, Pereira at second, and Oda at first. 0-1 inside. That one outside, 2-1. ACC tournament almost upon us, NCAA tournament as well. Certainly after this performance, and those watching it at home, it's hard to think that the Tigers won't go pretty far.
Oh, they won't have to play for quite a while. They have that first round bye. So keep that in mind. And well, all signs would point to a meeting of the two ACC favorites, Clemson, Florida State.
Fouled off, 2-2.
Then again, anything can happen in the postseason, and we know that.
Pitt stole a game on Friday from Florida State in Pittsburgh. And Florida State head coach actually texted Shannon Depking as there's a liner down the left field line, and that's fair. 1 run in to score with Logaleo. Second runner in Pereira coming around, and a third runner standing up is Oda. And a bases clearing double for Kaya Keller. 17-2 Tigers.
Well, Keller finds a way to get back on track. Big hit for her. You'd expect she'd start at least a game, if not more, and she has the power to, well, has some power for this Clemson lineup that is full of it.
First pitch strike there to JoJo Hyatt. 17-2 ball game.
Clemson could conceivably see this Syracuse team again in the tournament, by the way. Syracuse right now sitting in an 8 spot upon my last check. Number 1 seed is going to be taking on the winner of that 8-9 seed game, so.
Gustav's pitch is in the dirt. 2-1.
I think these two teams, this is the first time they played each other. They were scheduled to play in mid-March last year. Obviously, COVID kept that from happening. And first 3 games, it looked like these two teams were, despite differences in record, on even terms. Clemson just got super hot today, and it was on from the first pitch.
Started the game with the bases loaded and nobody out in the second inning too. Yeah, can't ask for much more than that. Sharply hit right up the middle, and that will bring runners to the corners here with 1 out. Base hit by Hyatt, her 3rd hit in this game. Hits up and down the lineup for the Tigers. 16 hits in this game, 17 runs.
Center field, number 7, Mackenzie
Brings
Clark.
up the top of the lineup in Mackenzie Clark. Start off talking about her ability in the field. Had a number 10 play on SportsCenter's top 10 last night with a home run saving catch of Gabby Tehran.
Oh, you mentioned Clark's play in the field, and you say 17 runs, 16 hits. Big number up there, at least in John Rittman's mind, no errors. On the call, he mentioned that they had a few defensive miscues. That happens with a young team. No errors today, though, is a good sign for the Tigers going into the ACC tournament, because this game is most likely an anomaly. You're not going to dominate like this against the top competition in the ACC, and you'll need to play stellar defense. Clemson's done that today when they've had to. Great sign for them going into postseason play.
2-1 count. Won by run rule a couple times this season. The Dirt 3-1. Last time they did so was on April 17th in a 10-2 win over Boston College in 6 innings. But this is shaping up to be their largest margin of victory this season. Hooper in a right field foul.
This season and in team history.
Yeah.
Don't have to go too far back to find that.
Exactly. A team that's only in second year of being a program. They're going to play in the ACC tournament for the first time coming up, and they'll enter as the top team. Special stuff in Clemson, South Carolina. Pitches high, and a full count walk issued to Clark at the top of the order. So the bases are loaded now for Ainsley Gilstrap.
Now batting playing shortstop, number 8, Ainsley Gilstrap.
Keller at third. She had a bases clearing double earlier in this inning. First pitch strike. Hyde over at second, and now Clark on first. 1 out in the inning. Syracuse will have one final chance to bat, but first they have to get out of a bases loaded 1 out jam. In the dirt, 1-1. Just Mr. Spot was Gustav. I'd have to assume that the 10 RBIs by Logoleo has to be a program record.
Oh, you'd think so, but there have been crazier things, though I don't think this is one of them.
10 RBIs is pretty crazy.
10 of anything in a game, minus there are a few stats in different sports that, oh boy.
That one hit out towards right field, nearing the fence and making the catches. Hasso, runners tag up from every base as Keller comes in to score. And Clemson now with 18 runs in this game.
Forgive my O there, with the way things have been going for Clemson. Anything off the bat looks good.
Sacrifice fly brings in Keller to score. Now Hyatt moves up to third, and Clark is at second. Now for Cagle. Possibly a pinch hitter coming here as Rittman meets with the home plate umpire.
Well, Cagle is out there. Gombarda is too. Maybe a pinch runner here. No, I'm not sure why you take Clark off the base pass with her speed. Maybe just rest at this point. Oh, no, here we go.
And it will be Morgan Johnson to come in to pinch hit.
Well, Johnson's one hit of this series also came in game 1. She was also walked and hit by a pitch in that game. And that was going up against Alexa Romero, who for the most part, she struggled to really track the ball to the plate. did get that hit late in the game to help Clemson get a couple runners on base, build that 2-run lead that ended up being enough.
2 runners in scoring position for the 6'1" Johnson, who looks at ball 1 on the inside part of the plate. 18-2 game. Johnson, chopper over to third, eats up Clyde and drops into left field. And another run comes in to score as Hyatt crosses the plate. 19-2 Tigers. See how they rule that one, and one kind of got up towards the shoulder of Clyde. So Johnson's on base, runners on the corners here. And another pinch hitter, Abby Stewart, in place of Gimbarda.
Yeah, they're going to score that a single there, Sam. Hard hit off the heel of the glove.
So Johnson grabs herself a hit. And Stewart, North Carolina native, steps to the plate and takes strike 1. Nine batters for Clemson have a hit. Fouled off, 0-2.
And not all of them started the game.
Yep. Across of a plethora of players.
Stewart has played quite a bit this year. Played in 31 games. Hitting .293 on the year, so viable option coming off the bench.
Time called before Gustav throws her next pitch. It's only got 1 out in this inning. So she's pitched at third, giving up 3 hits, 2 runs, both of which were earned. All runs in this game have been earned. Syracuse had problems with errors in their previous series with Virginia Tech. As Stewart swings and misses for strike 3, and Gustav gets out of the inning. But Clemson, 6 runs in this frame, and they take a 19-2 lead. Syracuse, a lot of work to do in the bottom of the 5th on ACC Network Extra.
For the Clemson Tigers in the middle of the 5th inning, 6 runs on 6 hits. No Syracuse errors, 2 runners left on base after 4.5 innings. Our score, Clemson 19, Syracuse 2.
Coming to the game. Pitched once in this series.
11 appearances for Spencer this year, by the way, Sam. ERA under 2. So, again, another arm that John Rippon can throw out there if he gets into any sort of trouble and get pretty good results from.
Ulmer takes ball 1 high.
Another change as well. Kaya Keller got put into first, so had a big hit. Get rewarded by playing the field for the final half inning.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. Yeah, at this point, I don't think you can say that's a change made for defensive purposes with a 17-run lead.
Just to keep people loose.
Yeah.
Make sure they have the muscle memory there.
Why not get everyone involved? As that one's hit out to left field and grabbed by Cagle for the first out of the inning.
They say, why not get everybody involved? Let's check the numbers here.
Well, the biggest one, 19 runs, but 17 hits. 9 players with a hit in this game for the Tigers.
Well, 19 runs, 20 players have played on the Clemson team. 20.
Feel good win in that way, too. Swung on a miss by Woods for strike 1.
26 players on the Clemson roster. And most people who haven't played have been pitchers.
I don't see John Rittman coming up to bat, but I could see it possibly. Fly out to left. 2 outs. So Clemson will improve after this win to 40. 29-5 this season.
Oh,
29-5.
Hit that mark, did they?
40. Yep.
You joke about John Rittman coming to the plate, by the way. He can swing that fungo. All coaches can.
First pitch inside for ball one to Leilani Mayfield, who would possibly be the last out for the Orange. Just misses 2-0 from Spencer.
Well, I said this before, and yes, it's 19-2. Not what Syracuse wanted to end the series.
I would say not.
But the first ties, and they were dead even with Clemson. Both of these teams should feel good, if not great, going into ACC tournament play. Syracuse, because they hung with Clemson for 3 games out of 4.
And more importantly, they stole a game as well.
They did.
A big victory yesterday.
Cemented their place more likely than not in the ACC tournament. Nothing crazy happened throughout the course of the weekend that would have pushed them out.
So Mayfield walks to keep this game going, and Casares Mayer will stand in 1 of 2 in this game.
In Clemson, of course, you get that 40-win threshold. Look forward to the winner of that 8-9 game. See who you're going to play and try and make a run at an ACC tournament title after getting the regular season title.
In the air towards first base, and Keller makes the grab, and that does it. Clemson is the ACC softball champs in the regular season in an emphatic fashion, 19-2 over Syracuse, and the Tigers will head back home to South Carolina as victors. Pretty impressive performance, top to bottom. It started at the plate. Aaliyah Logoleo had a lifetime game, basically. 10 RBIs in total.